G'day everyone, Adam here. Just wanted to put together a quick video to show everyone how to tan a hide using the pelt rack system. On the table in front of you here, you'll see a bunch of materials that you're going to need for the job. So you've got a hairbrush there, an old hairbrush, some table salt, you can pick it up from Coles or Woolies. That's a litre tanning kit, you can pick that up from their website. Some detergent, a 75 metre roll of jute twine, you can find that at Bunnings. An old paintbrush to paint on the leather lube that comes with the tanning kit. That's a scalpel or a craft knife. You can find them at Kmart or Bunnings. Some serving material, just standard bow serving material. I use that to stitch up the wounds in the hide. So from an arrow, you might get a nick in the hide. That's a very thick sewing needle. So you find one of those at Spotlight. You want to get the thickest one you can find. A stirring stick. You can find one or buy one, anything will do. A 20 litre bucket, you can pick one of those up from Bunnings, and a frozen hide. So first thing you want to do is thaw out your hide. I do all mine frozen, so when you're skinning your animal, you want to fold it flesh to flesh, and then roll it up and put it straight on ice as soon as you get back to camp, and then wrap it up in a garbage bag when you get home and put it straight into the freezer. So the thawing out process takes about a day or a night. So if you're wanting to work on it the following day, let it defrost overnight. You want to give it a stir around as it's defrosting to make sure it's moving around in the water there, and that no parts of it are sticking up out of the water. You want it all submerged. So the next part is fleshing. This is the sucky part of the job. If it's your first time, give yourself a good 2 hours to do it this way. So you'll see here I'm using the litre tanning knife that comes with the kit as well. It's a very tough job. So yeah, a hide this big took me about 45 minutes. And the goal is you just want to get all of the fleshy material off the skin, or as much as possible. So you're just kind of aiming for that, just the white skin to be left over. As you can see, I'm just holding with one hand and sort of stripping it off. Takes a fair bit of effort to get it off, but this is the hardest part of the job. So bear with it. Next step is to give it a wash in the detergent, just the dishwashing detergent. So fill up your bucket and throw a bit in there and just give it a good. So I'm just using this like plunging method here that works pretty well. Then you give it a sort of a half decent wring out. See here, I'm just trying to pull some of the suds out of it, and then give it a rinse in some clean water. You might have to do that a couple of times. This is just the wringing out method that I use. On the instruction kit, it says not to ever wring it out bone dry, so I wouldn't go too crazy with it. Here you can see me making up my solution. So there's instructions on the side of the tanning kit that give you ratios to use. So water to tanning solution to salt. Give it a stir around there. Yeah, work out those instructions well. You don't want to mess this part up. Chucking the hide into the solution there and probably give it a good stir around. This part takes about 4 days, the tanning part. The drying stage takes another 4 days. So 8 days all up to do a hide like this. But what you can see me doing there is just agitating it with the stirring rod. So you want to agitate over the 4 days that it's tanning in this solution. You want to agitate it a couple of times a day. So this here, you can see me agitating. So I agitate it in the morning and in the afternoon, so before and after work. So this is after 4 days of doing this. You can see the skin side's taken on a bluish tinge. That's how you know that tanning solution has got into the skin. You can cut the skin to find out, to see how much it's penetrated, and obviously if it needs more time in there, then chuck it back in the solution and give it a couple more days. Yeah, you can see me here just sort of draining out that fluid. I think I've got a hook on the side of my shed that I sort of just drape it over to let it just sort of drip out a little bit there. This is a billy goat, so this next step is pretty important. I just use some laundry detergent in a bucket. So mix up a little bit of laundry detergent there in some water because we're going to wash it. just to wash as much of that tanning solution out as we can. So you can see here I'm being a little bit more, I don't know, giving a bit more attention to detail with how much cleaning I do. So I'm just kind of rubbing it together like this with my 2 hands. And then you want to, same as before, you want to sort of give it a couple of rinse outs. So get all of that laundry liquid out of there. So just using that plunging method to give it a good rinse. Once that's done, yeah, you want to try and wring it out as best as you can. It doesn't need to be bone dry. The instructions tell you that it doesn't need to be completely dry. So just a rough wring out will do. This is pretty tricky as well. You'll find you won't get all the moisture out. So just give it your best crack. You do want it a little bit damp still for the next part. So lay it out on a table as shown here, and then we want to get to putting in the holes with the craft knife. So about an inch or 2 apart, all the way around the hide, the whole circumference of the hide, you want to throw these holes in and give it about, I don't know, 1 centimetre off the edge. So you don't want them too close to the edge, or otherwise when you string it up, the holes might pull through. So here I'm just cutting some lengths of jute twine, and I'm just sort of measuring it from the centre of my chest out to an outstretched arm. And we want 4 lots of 12. So on the pelt rack system, there's 12 holes on each side. So you'll probably need more than this, but this is just a good base number to have you covered. So you can see there I've got 4 groups of 12 lengths. Yeah. Yep, so moving on to the next part here is actually threading the jute twine through the individual sections. So you just see me spreading open the hide there and pushing it through with my fingertip and finding it and pulling it on through. I don't know the name of this next knot. It's just a simple, fixed knot to sort of help it stop from pulling through. It's not a slip knot or anything. It's just a fixed knot it's easy to cut off. So that's why the loop's so big. You'll see me sort of feeding it through the fingers there and pulling all that loose material back through the hole. And you don't want to tie that knot too close to the edge of the hide. So, there you go. If you get to tying those individual sections on all around the circumference of the hide, or at least 12 on each main side, so you'll have like a top, bottom and 2 sides to the hide. So like I said, you might find you need more than that, but that's a good start. So once you've got your pelt rack assembled, lay it face down on the floor and then chuck your hide with all the lengths hanging off it like that in roughly the center of the pelt rack. So this next knot that I'm going to use to tie each section on with is called a tensioning knot. You can check it out on Google. I encourage you to Google the actual knot. You can just use this demo to do it if you can understand what I'm doing here. So yeah, sort of passing the free length underneath the main part of the line and yeah, sort of feeding it back through that little window there twice. And then I'm going to use one of my fingers to drag the free end back under the main line to create another window. I'll just do it again. Back in there to create another window. And then pass the free end back in through that window once. Let go of that window and pull it tight. And then now you've got like a slip knot style knot that'll actually knot that will grip onto the main line there and allow you to tension it up like this without sort of pulling loose. So yeah, you can see the method that I'm using there is take the slack up, don't pull it against the edge of the frame or it will cut the jute. So yeah, you just want to take that tension off and then yeah, tension it up. So you get around, it's a little bit of a lengthy process, but you want to get around the perimeter of the hide there and tie each length onto the frame. Once it's all been tied on, you can get stuck into tensioning each one of the lengths up. So some people just tie continuous lengths, so 4 single lengths on the outsides, but I find this way to be better because I can actually apply tension to each individual length as I need to. So you can see once you've lifted the hide up to a vertical position, it actually puts more slack on those bottom lengths. So you just get around to tightening them up, and you want to maintain tension on the hide the entire time that you're drying it. So this is also when you want to apply the leather lube using that paintbrush and yeah, get to working your hide. So as you can see here, I'm still using that leader tanning knife, or the back end of it, to sort of work my hide. And yeah, you want to do this morning and night for at least 4 days, or until the hide's dry. You want to continuously work it like this so that it stays flexible, or otherwise you'll end up with a stiff hide. So this next part is what I use to remove this sort of crusty membrane that's left on it underneath. I just use an orbital sander. It does a great job, and it leaves that sort of suede finish to the underside of the hide. You'll see once it's done, it sort of, yeah, just keep going until you're happy with the finish it leaves on the hide. Basically, you see there it's nice and smooth. Don't worry about the edges, because you're going to cut them off. And just blow away all the crap that gets left behind. It's a bit of a messy job, so you make sure you got everything up off the floor when you're doing this. Yeah, you don't have to do this, but makes a better product at the end. So here you can see me just brushing off any loose hair that's on it. On this hide there was quite a lot. It was a big hairy billy goat. Next step is it's all about symmetry here. So you want to yeah, make a symmetrical shape that you're going to cut out from your hide. Obviously, if you've done a good skinning job, you'll end up with a better hide. So you can see here my skinning job was pretty shocking, but I still end up with a pretty good hide anyway. So I'm just cutting it out with a box knife, and there you go. So yeah, you've got a pretty good hide there, and you can just sort of cut off the remaining parts pretty simply with a pair of scissors. And that's the finished product. Thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions, get in touch with us on socials.